is that which overcomes the world, even our faith, our belief in what God has said concerning whatever situation you're going through. That is what overcomes it. And so we are overcomers. We've overcome everything that has come our way, right? My name is Frederick Njiri, and this is the Morning Live. And we'll be looking at some of the things that have happened. Start off with Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi, whose wife, Njeri Mwangi, has called on the Kenyan and Tanzanian governments to release her husband and bring him back home, saying both governments are not giving any information about his whereabouts. Speaking after she visited the Tanzanian High Commission here in Kenya, Njeri narrated about how the uncertainty of her husband's whereabouts had taken a great toll on her family. The Tanzanian government says it has already set free the activist, but he remains untraceable.
This we're saying without any shred of a doubt is that Boniface Mwangi and Agatha Atuhaire have not committed any offense. We're very clear about that. We know for certain that going to Tanzania to observe a judicial process by any means is fully within the laws of Tanzania. Up to this point in time, no one has come forward, even those of us who are stopped at the airport, no one has come forward to state clearly the mistake, the crime that had been committed.
I don't know if there's any, whatever the issue is between the two governments. I can't speak to that because my husband has got nothing to do with it. If they have any issues, they should sort them on their own and leave my husband out of it. If my husband has anything to do, they need to come out and be very clear about whatever that is.
So we are wondering, where is Boniface Mwangi and Comrade Agatha Atuhaire of Uganda? So from here, what we are going to do, we are going to regroup so that we know the next course of action. But in the meantime, we are asking Kenyans, we are asking Tanzanians, we are asking all East Africans, and indeed all Pan-Africans in Africa and outside Africa, to exert pressure on the government of Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan so that she may release Boniface Mwangi and Agatha Atuhaire.
Yeah, I thought the guy had been released because the Tanzanian government and I think the LSK in TZ had already indicated that they had released him. I'm shocked that he's yet to go home. Anyway, embattled Senator Gloria Ruoba has lost her position in the Senate after the Speaker, Amason Jaffa Kingi, officially declared her seat vacant. In a Gazette notice dated 21st of May 2025 and issued on the same day, Speaker Kingi announced the vacancy in accordance with Article 101(2) of the Constitution following the invocation of Article 98(1)(b), which pertains to members elected to represent special interests. The former nominated senator has been facing mounting pressure following disciplinary proceedings by a sponsoring party, which led to her expulsion of alleged misconduct. Ruoba was on Monday expelled from the ruling United Democratic Alliance, or UDA, party due to allegations of disloyalty and violation of the party's code of conduct. However, the High Court has now issued orders barring her removal pending determination.
Containing Gazette Notice number 6461, I have communicated the occurrence of a vacancy in a member of the Senate elected through a party list. The Gazette Notice notifies the general public that pursuant to Article 103, 1EI of the Constitution and Section 37 of the Elections Act, the seat for the member of the Senate elected under Article 98(1)(b) of the Constitution and held by Senator Gloria Ruoba has become vacant, with effect from today, Wednesday, 21st of May 2025. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to the provisions of Article 101(2) of the Constitution and Section 16(3) and 37 of the Elections Act, I have notified the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, and the political party concerned of the vacancy arising in the office of a member of the Senate elected under Article 98(1)(b) of the Constitution. The Senate is accordingly notified. Thank you.
well, she'll know what to do, I guess. Now, Githunguri Member of Parliament Gathoni wa Mushomba has condemned the United Democratic Party for expelling nominated Senator Gloria Roba from the party. Speaking in Mombasa, wa Mushomba termed the act by the party a political persecution and a violation of our right to association. The party expelled Oroba over disciplinary breaches and disloyalty, citing her association with former Interior CS and the 2027 presidential hopeful Dr. Fred Matiang'i. Flanked by Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka, Wamushomba said Gloria, the nominated senator, is politically bullied and paints an erosion of nationality ethos.
Parliament is very independent. You also cannot isolate Gloria from her community. You cannot say that Gloria, because now she's a nominated senator under UDA, she no longer associates with the Kisii community. She no longer associates with the Kisii leaders, whether they are from her party or not her party. And I think this is an erosion of what we call the nationalism. When you start associating leaders with who they marry, who they sing with over the weekend, which church they attend to, I think this is an erosion of our nationalistic ethos. And I am here to condemn the persecution, the harassment, the objectification of Senator Senator Gloria. And I stand with her as a woman, I stand with her as a mother. And I want to speak to my political party, UDA. UDA literally means Democratic Party. It is democracy within the democratic space for us to associate, for us to advocate, for us to stand for Kenyans. Senator Gloria is not from Mount Kenya region where I come from, but I'm here standing for her because she's a Kenyan. She's a woman leader under a democratic party called UDA. If UDA really stands for democratic leadership, then they should allow Senator Gloria Orwaba to relate herself with the ground in Kisii.
I mean, we just need to grow up. What we are saying is Gloria Orwaba is a victim of circumstances who's being punished for expressing her democratic right. Gloria is basically Fred Matiang'i's person that they have worked with before when he was in Jubilee, when he was working for President Uhuru. So when Matiang'i came back and she's coming there escorting him, Matiang'i hasn't even said he belongs to a certain party. He has not said he's going to Jubilee or UPA or UDA or whatever, whichever. But the reality is that for the president and his team to pick this innocent lady, and as Mheshimiwa Mushomba has said, somebody who has meticulously picked a single issue in the Republic of Kenya, which was considered taboo.
At least she has some people to fight for her, right? Elsewhere, President William Ruto has slammed political leaders who have voiced their dissent against the sugar leasing deals for the larger Western region, saying the leaders have no interest of Kenyans at heart. The head of state defended the leasing agreements as ones that will eradicate poverty among sugarcane farmers who had fallen prey to cartels in the region. The president made the remarks at State House Nairobi, where he met leaders from the Akamba region.
My plan is that next year we must get 1 million tons. The following year, 1.2 million tons. Already, we have an additional 200,000 acres of land planted under sugarcane, and we have 4 new factories that we have licensed. And on top of that, zile kampuni za serikali ambazo zilikuwa zina kizungumkuti mingi, we have now finalized the leasing so that the private sector can come in. And it is I am very happy with the progress that has been made. Kuna viongozi ambao wanataka kuweka watu katika umaskini. Unaona mtu anaenda kupinga ati factory ya sukari should not be leased. Ati iendelee vile inaendelea saa hii. Saa hizi factory hailipi mkulima. Factory hailipi wafanyikazi. Factory hailipi ushuru. Factory inachukua miwa ya wananchi inaenda inazama nayo. How can a leader mwenye ako na akili aseme kitu kama hiyo iendelee? You know, really. You know, some leaders I don't understand. They need to be humane. How can you want people to be in poverty? Hiyo wakulima wa miwa wengi, karatasi yao inaonyesha DR, yani wanadaiwa. Mtu unapeleka miwa, mwisho unaandikwa makaratasi, unaambiwa wewe ndio ulipe kampuni ya miwa. Mkulima anangojea mwaka moja alipwe. Mwisho sio ati mkulima analipwa na kampuni ambaye alipeleka sukari yake. Mwisho serikali ndio inalipa wakulima, serikali ndio inalipa wafanyikazi. Serikali haikuajiri wafanyikazi, serikali haikuchukua miwa ya wakulima. Factory hailipi wafanyikazi, factory hailipi ushuru. Factory inachukua miwa ya wananchi, inaenda inazama nayo. How can a leader mwenye ako na akili aseme kitu kama hiyo iendelee? You know, really. You know, some leaders I don't understand. They need to be humane. How can you want people to be in poverty? Hiyo wakulima wa miwa wengi, karatasi yao inaonyesha DR, yani wanadaiwa. Mtu unapeleka miwa, mwisho unaandikwa makaratasi, unaambiwa wewe ndio ulipe kampuni ya miwa. Mkulima anangojea mwaka moja alipwe. Mwisho sio ati mkulima analipwa na kampuni ambaye alipeleka sukari yake. Mwisho serikali ndio inalipa wakulima, serikali ndio inalipa wafanyikazi. Serikali haikuajiri wafanyikazi, serikali haikuchukua miwa ya wakulima. What kind of nonsense is that?
Right. Elsewhere, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has summoned former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for allegedly comparing the 2007-2008 post-election violence to a Christmas party. Terming the remarks as deeply insensitive, NCIC condemned the former Deputy President for the utterances, which they say is harmful to national healing and reconciliation. The Commission is also investigating 28 other leaders for alleged violation under the National Cohesion and Integration Act, including hate speech and ethnic contempt. NCIC is urging Kenyans, and especially the youth and social media influencers, to use their freedom of expression to promote unity. They further called for renewed patriotism and rejection of ethnic polarization to foster peace ahead of the 2027 election.
NCIC are concerned by Honorable Rigathi Gachagua's, the former Deputy President, recent remarks. These thoughts are not only appalling, but dangerously insensitive to the pain, to the loss, and the trauma suffered by thousands of Kenyans during one of the darkest chapters in our history. The Commission is working closely with the other relevant agencies to hold Rigathi Gachagua responsible and accountable for these reckless utterances.
Well, I wish NCIC had teeth, and I pray that I wish it did its stuff in the right way instead of seeking to please masters. That's my thinking. Because I have heard, there's so many statements that have been made. I would have loved Wamunyoro, Oscar Sudi, who else has made some shocking, there's a CS who also made some statements in Nyanza. As in, actually it's John Mbadi. I would love all of them. I'm not in support of any of them. I would love all of them to be summoned so that they learn how to keep their mouths shut. Because we know from scriptures that, you know, your words can set a fire. And a big fire is set up by the tongue. Now, Mumias East Member of Parliament Peter Salasia has condemned what he terms as victimization of innocent Kenyans by security agencies. Salasia, who is out on a bond, Kenya 200,000 shillings bail, after he was arrested last Friday and charged with hate speech, wants Inspector General Police Douglas Kanja to rein in his officers and ensure that they follow the law while executing their mandate. He claims to have been victimized during his dramatic arrest and detention by officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations on his way from Isiolo, saying that government agencies should learn to summon those they suspect of wrongdoing instead of arresting them like criminals.
Nikasema ya kwamba that office called the Inspector General is an office that is given by the Constitution of Kenya, that is there to protect Kenyans from any kind of insecurity issue. Na wakati unaona kwa sababu all hivi vitengo zote ziko chini ya Inspector General. Mimi nimeuliza Bwana Kanja kwa heshima kubwa sana jana na leo. Nikamuuliza ya kwamba aitishe ule ambaye anaitwa the Director of Criminal Investigation, Bwana mimi, ya kwamba wasitumie hiyo kitengo kufrustrate and harass harmless people like Peter Salasia and others. Sasa ukishika Peter Salasia, mtoto mdogo kama mimi, na amemwaga tu mafuta Yesu Kristo juzi, sasa mnakafanya namna gani? Kwa sababu kama mnaona ya kwamba tumekosa mahali, andikeni kwa mtandao, chapisheni kwa mtandao ya kwamba Peter Salasia unahitajika pale katika makao makuu ya Criminal Investigation tarehe fulani saa fulani, ili ya kwamba nisipoenda Wakenya watajua ya kwamba tulimuita akakataa.
You know, human beings are very interesting people. If you had seen Salasia in court, he was so, you know, having taken a few days in government quarters, being fed by the government, being given accommodation by the government, he was so meek, so humble. You would not imagine that this is the same Salasia. But now he's out. Wow! Universal health coverage. Workers continued with their demonstration demanding permanent and pensionable terms before their payrolls are transferred to the counties. More than 8,000 workers from different cadres held a night vigil in Nairobi's Green Park terminus on Tuesday night before staging protests along Nairobi streets. The workers hired under the UHC program launched by former President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2020 accused the government of reneging on its promises to offer permanent employment terms.
Serikali, Mheshimiwa Ruto anaongea kila siku, anasema ile kitu anataka kufanya ni mambo ya UHC, Universal Health Coverage. Lakini ataifanyaje bila human resource? Sisi ndio human resource wa hiyo Universal Health Coverage yenye anataka. Na whereas hatupai kazi. Tumekuwa tukifanya kazi na hatuja confirmiwa ile permanent and pensionable. For more than 6 years now. Wenzetu wamekufa 41, almost 45. Na mmoja alikufa last week juzi. Sasa ndio tumekuja hapa leo. Serikali
having worked tirelessly with everybody running away from COVID, we stood firm. Kila mtu alikuwa anakimbia, even the politicians were running away. To stand firm, peka policemen walikuwa wanakimbia. We stood firm until COVID ikaisha. Now having worked on contract for 5 years, being paid peanuts, they are now tossing us up and up, down, right, center, paka tunachanganyikiwa.
Officers, 16 cadres. We don't have any medical covers which we can stand. We are exposed to microbes which affect our lives. Secondly, we work the same shift with those who are employed. Thirdly, we are discriminated, whereby we get 2/3 of the salary that our fellow people working the same shift, the same workload, the same benches.
They were not actually employed for COVID-19. It's only that it was coincidental that when we were starting the journey towards universal health coverage, and when they got into service, then their first experience was with COVID-19. The government was giving the stipend of 50,000 for the diploma and 40,000 for the certificate, as they budgeted to get the requisite funds and pay them as per the SRC policies.
we want to call out the Cabinet Secretary of Health, Honorable Aden Duale. When we first met you, you shown us hope, but it is quite unfortunate that within 2 months, you have drastically changed and joined the bandwagon of those people who are oppressing healthcare workers in this country. You promised us that you are going to deal with the matter of UHC and any other pending labor issue.
Welcome back to Morning Live. Remember, at 9 a.m. we'll be having Your Faith with Reverend Felix Kevoy. And then later on in the afternoon at around 2 p.m. there, we have Manukato with Teddy and DJ Josh. DJ Sean. All right, we take a look at what the newspapers are saying. Kenya, this is the Star newspaper, and this is what the Star is saying. There is a problem because of the bromance we are starting to have with China and Russia. Kenya-USA ties at risk as Ruto eyes China-Russia bloc. And then you have Senator Oruoba loses seat amid legal puzzle. Petitioner oppose ex-DP bid to drop ouster case. I see President Ruto dancing here due to the relations that are coming with the states, but now things are getting a little bit messy. Fake contraceptives, Senate opens inquiry on pregnancies report. They're now saying that the contraceptives that are given to Kenya or bought in Kenya are fake. UN Rights Review fingers Kenya over extrajudicial killings. Mass layoffs as state freezes new contracts across 42 parastatals. And then a date with the destiny, Coach Parwata to name final Simba squad after Saturday's test match against United Arab Emirates. That's the Star. Then The Nation. How spying deal split Ruto men. And the people involved here are a gentleman whose name keeps on coming up. This Indian guy called Jayesh Saini. And then you have Eric Ngeno and Dennis Itumbi. Fresh court filings expose bitter falling out among State House aides, a chaotic communication strategy, and now President Ruto's frustration that his government was losing public appeal prompted the search for a surveillance software. The surveillance software. Union strike plan over UHC medic. Murdered priests, money, debt, and conflicting accounts. Conflicting accounts and a veil of secrecy continued to cloud the events leading to the death of Iguamete parish priest, Father John Maina. In the absence of conclusive post-mortem report, police are relying on testimonies from individuals who interacted with Father Maina in his final hours to establish the cause of death. Sources within the team investigating the priest's death at Gilgil Station say Father Maina was allegedly poisoned. He reportedly arrived, the guy was poisoned. At least I know. Actually, the post-mortem report Don't ask me how I know this. The post-mortem report indicates there was blunt force to the back of the head, and there was evidence that somebody had tried to strangle him, and then his liver also shows there was a substance that was used to take him out. So, yeah, he must have gone through a terrible time before he was killed. Then we have, where is my husband? Activist Boniface Mwangi's wife now asks, court holds Oruoba's expulsion as UDA officials face contempt, propaganda, nyenyenyenye, system court case exposes state house infighting. As defaulters vanish, state seeks another 5 billion for Hustler Fund. Then we got Otula remembered as a true servant of sports. Then getting ground ready. Police champions said to be held at Ulinzi have been deferred. Then the Standard, fumbling Mudavadi. I listened to that interview and he was not conclusive. There are things he wanted to say but couldn't get the words to say. A public uproar is brewing after Kenya backed Tanzania's detention and deportation of Kenyans, triggering a storm over the government's double-faced stance on regional relations. Even as activist Boniface Mwangi remains missing, the Prime Cabinet Secretary is applauding heavy-handed crackdowns in the name of neighborly ties, but plays host to dissenters from Sudan and DRC. Then you have the picture of Boniface Mwangi, Martha Karua, and Willy Mutunga, the former Chief Justice. Ignore Islamic beliefs for my son to inherit. Widow of Coast tycoon wants son born before they married to have a share of his wealth. Mudavadi stokes anger for backing Suluhu on arrests and deportation. Suluhu gets hostile global attention ahead of polls. MPs demands teacher medical scheme details. What's in a title? Clinical officer sue to be doctor. Okay. Alarm over forged papers with public servants leading to vice. And then the back page, you have reduced squad size or I walk away once Guardiola. Huh? He wants to walk away. Okay. Na hiyo ndio mangazeti nasema, right? Well, with that, we got to bring down the curtains of the show. I do hope that at least you know what's happening today. A couple of things will be happening in different places. Well, obviously, there's the search for Boni Mwangi. It's probably somewhere. He's obviously somewhere. It's funny, the Tanzanian authorities say they released him, but he's not gotten home. Do have yourself a lovely morning.